Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge this morning, December 22nd, 2018, 6:14 a.m. Daylight is arriving. We can see this. It's cold this morning. Temperature is 39 degrees. Okay, sorry for the delay. Should start warming up though. We have Canadian Club whiskey, the 6-year aged retired version. Now, if you buy Canadian Club, it's aged 5 years, okay? 80 proof, both versions. It used to be like 90 proof years ago, close to 86, I think, 86.4, something like that. But like many of these, or most of these whiskeys, their proof has been lowered. I guess that appeals to the modern drinker or something like that. Canadian Club, introduced in 1858. So like I said, the 6-year version, aged version, versus Rich and Rare Reserve, introduced around 2010, either 2010 or 2011, a Sazerac brand. It was announced this morning in the paper. Well, I guess it came out yesterday, but it was in the newspaper this morning in the business section, the New Orleans Advocate paper, that Sazerac, in fact, completed their deal with, they closed the deal yesterday with Diageo. They thought it would take till January, but it was all wrapped up yesterday. So they acquired 19 brands of liquor from Diageo, including Myers' rum, Seagram's VO whiskey, and 17 others. And they're going to open their Sazerac museum. So this company, Sazerac, goes back to 1850, in Canadian Club to 1858. All right, so I think this is not going to be much of a challenge because Canadian Club has a distinctive sort of weird flavoring taste. Not a bad, I'm not saying a bad taste, just a strange taste. And I'm going to probably have to do some more double ups either today or tomorrow or Tuesday because of scheduling issues down the road and up until New Year's Day. Not that uncommon that people would have holiday time schedule issues. And it should get back on track for about 6 weeks and then get awry again when baseball season starts. So I'll have to do college baseball season. I'll have to do double ups then. No big deal. Doesn't change that amount consumed each week. It just switch things around. Rich and Rare Reserve gives no age statement, so I don't know how old it is. It's probably, I'm just thinking about 6 years also. I have no evidence to back it up. I don't even know how old Rich and Rare is, the regular one. All right, so we'll get it going here. Oh, yeah, it is daylight coming. Try to go walk 1.5 miles today. Should be able to do that. May or may not go into New Orleans today. Did last weekend. Went to Infant Jesus of Prague Church, 4 p.m. Vigil Mass. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That was in Marrero, Louisiana. Oh, Harvey, Louisiana. Sorry. Merry Christmas, Ron. So I'm pretty sure, says Dancing Dog 60. So I'm pretty sure that Pabst Blue Ribbon Easy is just Pabst Blue Ribbon Light repackaged to the hipster workout crowd. That wouldn't shock me, but I have no way of verifying that because Pabst Brewing Company has websites that are practically non-functioning. Their portfolio has no links. This has been going on since spring of 2018. They've resolved their lawsuit with Miller, so what is the issue? Why do they not? You know, I'm not worried about Pabst. I'm sick of them and their horrible internet. Maybe they think the internet is no longer important. To me, it is. You would think online advertising be important, but apparently they don't care. You say, no, it's so complicated to do these websites. Oh, is it? I see people doing them all the time. And hell, excuse my language, you could just make a text website if you were that strange about things. How about just making a website and put down each brand and what it contains and the specs and what's available? I'll do it for them. And I don't even have any expertise. If you want to be techno, as Larry Holmes said in 1985, if you want to be techno, I don't even have any expertise and I can do it. But they can't. Okay. Let's check Sazerac and see if they've added the new brands. I doubt it, but they might have. They might have had it already in place and just had to, once it was finalized, press a few buttons, right? You know, and then it's in. Let's see, our brands, rum. Their website's pretty antiquated now. It's nice, but it's antiquated. It's 2008 level. But at least there's something there. No, I don't see Myers's. I see about 35 to 40 other rum brands, however. Barbarossa, Barton, Bentley's, Black Magic, Black Mass, Bowman's Small Batch, Kachaka, 51, Calypso, Kane, Caribe, Classic Club, Clipper, Colson's, Dictator, Firefly, Fleischmann's, Jonas Curse, Kroger. And Kroger is a grocery chain, but really what it's called is Four Freedoms Rum and Doubloon Rum. It's interesting that they list the Kroger private label, but not other companies. Lagaroo, Margaritaville. Oh, yeah, they're in cahoots with Jimmy Buffett. Mr. Boston, Olo, Freya, Port Royal, Ron Corina, Ron Pontalba. That's a famous apartments in Louisiana, in Jackson Square, New Orleans. St. James, Seafarer, Skull Rum, huh? That's a new one. I saw Skull Vodka at Walmart Thursday. Sutton Club, Tropical Breeze, White Marlin, and Wicked Will. Well, maybe they'll update their website while we're still all alive. You know, you think it would be easy, but let's check one more thing. Let's check thebar.com. Last time I went on thebar.com, it wasn't even working because I guess they updated it and it was dead. But let's see if they still have Myers's on there. All right. Talking about the Diageo spirits, rum. Our brands. Myers's. Well, it ain't your brand now. So let's get it rolling, okay? And their rum brands that they list. Diageo has a bad habit of having 20 liquor brands that they show and then 50 others they don't bother show. Captain Morgan, the Naked Turtle White Rum. Myers's, Captain Morgan, Parrot Bay, and then Zacapa. And then if you click on those, there's all kind of subcategories of it. So there's way more than just those. But anyway, that's another story, ain't it? Brix Lins 1970 says, "Sup, homie?" Just chilling, drinking a bud. Okay. Dancing Ducks. It's not great. I prefer Milwaukee's Best Light, but I can't find it. Oh, we get Milwaukee's Best Light here, just like everywhere. I think I remember seeing Pabst Light beer in Lafayette, Louisiana a few years ago. And I mean, let's say 15 years. Wish they'd bring back Falstaff if they own the brand. Yeah, right. Thank you. And Schaefer, I swear that must be discontinued. Nope. I can go get Schaefer Light right over there. If I go to town today, I can get Schaefer Light. But I'm not paying the price they want. They're crazy. And the last time I checked the old Milwaukee website, that was dead too. Oh yeah, I mean it's a joke. It's pathetic. Horrible. It's like here I am, just somebody off the street that does beer reviews online. You're like, okay, big deal. I'm nobody. But yet, I could do the website and they can't. And these are professionals from, you know, like a company. Okay. So but don't pick on Pabst Brewing Company and don't pick on Sazerac. Look at Miller. For four straight years, Miller Coors had a Miller Genuine Draft website that was saying coming soon, or what was it? Coming this summer. Nothing. And then finally they dropped it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I accidentally clicked thumbs down on my own video. I dislike my own video. Can't stand it. All right, I remember that. Rainbow Sky says, hi, Ronald. How are you? I'm fine right now. Okay. Well, the appearance, I forgot. They're both gold. This one's darker. This is a gold and this is an amber gold. And that must be the Rich and Rare. That must be Canadian Club. It's got to be. This has got to be Canadian Club. So I better mix them up again and not look, right? Because that's a giveaway. And we're trying to make it a taste challenge, not just a farce. Now, some people are going to say it's a farce anyway. That's fine. All right. I'm gonna have to bundle up on that first half mile. At least it's not windy. Oh man. Don't look. Don't look. I mean, you can look. I'm telling myself, don't look. You'll notice that when you do these, the initial aromas don't last, and then it settles down into something else as it breathes. Now, I'm telling you, it does that. Yeah, it's a very strong aroma of the plum wine or confectioner's sugar or honeycomb cereal, and I've gotten that before on Canadian Club. I'm telling you, Canadian Club has a pretty strong flavored whiskey aroma and taste. It is one of the top selling whiskeys in the world now. Okay, so maybe people just like that. I like it too, tell you the truth, but it is a strange. Well, it's a candy aroma. It smells like some kind of candy. And maybe whiskey that smells like candy is appealing to people. I think Miller Coors and Pabst have too many beers in their portfolio and they don't care about some of the brands. It's almost to the point where you have to think they don't even know what brands they have. Like, do you even know your own portfolio? Because I wrote a letter to Pabst 4 years ago, an email, maybe 3 years ago. I said, could you give me an updated list of your brands? And they said, well, do you work for a media company? Are you a reporter? I said, what? I said, no, I'm just a consumer. I'm just curious about what you sell. Oh, okay. It was like they were interrogating me. And so they sent me this PDF file. It was pages of brands, some of which we've heard of. And I said to myself, this is really sad. You know, you have this company, they don't even know what their own products are. But I mean, they have a list. But I mean, think about this. They had to recreate Schlitz Gusto from old guys that were probably in their 80s or maybe younger, who had retired from Schlitz and worked there in the 1960s. And they made what they thought perhaps could have been what Schlitz tasted like in 1969, but yet, in fact, they didn't have the recipe. Why is that? They lost it. I'm not saying Pabst lost the recipe. It probably was Stroh's or maybe it was Schlitz themselves. But how do you lose a recipe? I mean, what do they do with their files? They keep them in a shoebox? I was saying this 10 years ago. This is a big company. This is not like, some people down the street that have a sandwich shop. But you would imagine even they wouldn't lose the recipe of their own product, but they're Schlitz. They don't have the recipe. But then again, if you watch this 1989 video, and it's very long, hours. I watched the whole thing of Falstaff's brewery, the last Falstaff brewery in where was that? Indiana somewhere, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, and they were about to shut it down. And it was like the last. They were making videotapes of the last few months of operation. They knew it was coming in. If you look at the level of production, it's bizarre. And this is 29 years ago. And this was a company that was producing beer almost as you would have expected, not in 1989, but in 1889. You're watching, the guys got these two old aluminum cups, I guess it was aluminum, and he's testing the beers, half and ref or malt liquor, and they're pouring it. He's pouring it back and forth. He's trying to agitate it some kind of way, and he's testing the specific gravity of it. Of course, they're drinking it the whole time. And then there's hand scrape. This is a huge brewery, and they were hand scraping the yeast off the top of the barrels. That was really craft beer, like true craft beer of in the macro sense. It was amazing. But you can imagine if that's the kind of outfit they're running. And it looked like they might have cleaned it once since the 1870s when they had opened it. It might have cleaned, probably didn't. It's just something to see. And then the lab technician is a guy sitting at an old desk, like the old 1910 desk with a roll up, and he's got a light, and he's writing everything. Everything was pencil and paper, everything in the brewery, and chalk. And he's testing the samples with this little kit. If you go and watch that video and then you compare it to a modern tour of Anheuser-Busch, say if you went to Houston like I did and did their Brewmasters tour, cost you $25, and go up to their lab, you just can't believe it. But then again, saying all of that, Falstaff was still probably better than Budweiser. It's a little dirtier now, a little dirtier taste. It wasn't super clean, but it had that old-timey, grimy thing. All right. Let me go to this taste challenge. I don't want to get all nostalgic, but I could do that so fast. Because I remember when Jack's Brewery was still running in New Orleans. Talk about an old operation, baby. Do American whiskeys taste different from Canadian whiskeys? It says Rainbow Sky. Yeah, they don't taste alike at all. I mean, they taste like alcohol, like 80 proof alcohol, but they don't taste the same. I mean, I don't see how you could ever confuse Canadian whiskey to American whiskey. They just don't taste. Dancing Dogs, it would be nice if some smaller company would pick up some of the legacy beers like Jack's and Rheingold and others from the 50s and 60s. There is a company making Rheingold, and it's ghastly. I've tried it. Horrible stuff to me. Jack's, yeah, last time I saw Jack's was 1996 when Pabst was producing it out of San Antonio, and they were doing this for the French Quarter Festival. Jack's is back. Back for maybe a week. I bought a 6-pack, went to buy more, never saw it again. And it was good. My daddy said, I'm not drinking that. I'll need paregoric and 2 aspirin if I drink that. He remembers the old Jack's draft beer. He said it was so, but he's got a sensitive stomach. My grandfather said, that stuff was good. What are you talking about? A company that does not know its own products is like a man not knowing his own foot. Yeah, I swear. You really almost think they don't know what their portfolio is. Sam Adams here in Boston originally had the old Half and Reffer plant. Now that plant is pretty much just a place where they brew specialty beers. Yeah, like a showcase brewery. Yeah. All right, time to do the taste, John. Now you see this aroma here smells like more like straight up whiskey. You know what I mean? Like grain alcohol, corn, sort of semi-sweet corn, grits, yellow corn grits, polenta, if you want to call it that, because that's what it is. That's what polenta is. Just like, psh. I remember this woman coming in the store and saying, do you have polenta? I said, yes. I said, what do you get polenta for? I feed it to my baby. I said, oh. I said, where are you from? The Czech Republic. I said, oh, well, okay. That's going to be a strong, big baby, a stocky baby, I have a feeling. Nice looking lady. Wouldn't want to arm wrestle her. I just remember that. I feed it to my baby. All right. And then one time they had some people from the islands. We're looking for Dragon Stout, man. Dragon Stout. Of course, the store. Never heard of it. I heard of it. I've had it. Do you have the Dragon Stout from the islands? I said, nah, they don't have that kind of stuff. All right. Yeah, Dragon Stout. Same people that make Red Stripe beer. Dragon Stout. It's an awesome stout. Sound like a strong woman. Yeah. She's going to make strong babies. Wishy-washy. You don't want wishy-washy. You want strong. Feed it to my baby. That's a good comment. Be fruitful and multiply, right? And feed the baby polenta. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's some flavoring aroma here. But like I said, it dissipated, but you still get the plum on, you still get the confectioner's sugar and all that. It's none of those things you want, but it might be plum on, but it's not confectioner's sugar, but they can use that. We talk about that variety of wine, brandy, rum, bourbon, of various combinations up to a certain percentage. I miss bare knuckle stout. He said beer knuckle. It's bare knuckle, right? Yeah, I tried that on draft in St. Louis at Anheuser-Busch Brewery in 2007. Boy, that stuff was good. Dry though. Ooh, that was a dry stout, but it was so good. Oh yeah, baby. But they had a problem. Anheuser-Busch has had a problem for the last 70 years of when they make craft beer, people won't buy it because they say that's a macro company. And yeah, they've been making craft beers since the 1930s, okay? But it just never caught on. I was trying to tell this to other people in the beer groups. I said, this is not new. And I was showing them pictures. Budweiser Bock, 1950s. Budweiser Bock beer. Schaefer Pale, Special Pale. What was it called? Pale Dry. But it was like they were blind to it or something. Like they couldn't. They would tell me, you're a shill for the big companies. I said, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? I don't know these people. I'm telling you, they were making those kind of beers. They were making Ballantine India Pale Ale in the 1950s. That's a macro company, man. What are you talking about? All I was trying to tell them was this was not new. Stouts, porters, bocks, pale ales, India Pale Ales. That's not new. Okay? It just wasn't produced. Like, you know, they always have these conspiracy theories. It was a plot. It was a conspiracy to make fizzy yellow stuff. Wrong. They made what sold, okay? And they had that old story about, well, in World War II, grain was rationed and all this. I've never actually seen any documentation to support that. It's just somebody told a story and everybody copied and pasted the story and just kept it like an urban legend, you see. And you say, what? Do you have any primary sources to back that up? No, nothing. Okay. But all the evidence argues against that theory, actually. Anyway, the flavor here, yeah, just sweet corn grits and alcohol. It's 80 proof. You're going to pick up the alcohol. It's kind of smooth. They talk about it's distinctively smooth. I don't know what it makes it distinctively smooth. It seems a little rough to me, but I don't mind rough because I'm so sick of everything got to be so smooth. You know, it has no character. It's like, oh, it's so smooth. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if it had character. That would be good too. But I have a Coors Christmas holiday beer in the late 1990s. I don't think Miller would brew that now. Oh yeah, I have it too. White Christmas, 1996. I miss old smoky moonshine. I thought I saw that. It went out of business. Oh, I hear in Canada there's a non-alcoholic Bud. My guess is that's just Old Duels in a can. Could be. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I saw that Budweiser Canadian thing. Yeah, it might be Old Duels. Or it could be a recipe that Labatt is brewing up there, similar to it. Because you ever notice the Canadian, they'll have different specs. They won't be very different, but they're always different. Like Bush Ice, different beer in Canada, different label. It's very weird. Old Milwaukee, same thing, different label. Don't understand it. All right. This has that flavoring thing. It's not bad. In fact, I like it. It's like candy. I said it's a candy flavor. But this is Canadian Club, and that's Rich and Rare Reserve. Which one's better? Oh, there's the big. The price is the same, so that's no factor. Doesn't make a difference there. So nobody wins by default because there's no price difference. So then we got to think about flavor. I really like that honeycomb cereal flavor. You can get on the Canadian Club website. They give a pretty detailed explanation of how they produce it. You can't get on the Rich and Rare Reserve website because no such website exists. Yeah, there's a Facebook page, but all they do is just promote it. They put very nice photos out. It'll say like, it's Friday, get some Rich and Rare Reserve, and they'll show a nice picture of it in a glass with ice cubes. But I mean, they don't really explain anything about it. They'll just say it's good. True, I like beer with hops. I also make hops tea for sleep. Huh, never heard of that. Oh, there's daytime now. There's daytime now. Time to go walking and get cold. All right, so here we're going to call it flavor. Oh yeah, winter. Okay. Well, it's a tie, I guess. Hate to do ties because you want a winner, right? You say, I want a winner. I want a winner. But I can't see that any one wins over the other. They're different, but they're about equal in quality. They're good. Not great. Good. Now, you read some of these reviews, and they'll talk about Canadian Club like it's poison. Those are the ones that just crack me up. It's like, come on, man. I can understand if you're saying it's kind of bland or whatever. What do you expect? It's $11.99 a bottle. You knew it wasn't going to be world class when you bought it. It's been around since 1858. Why? Because it's common. It's just like typical stuff. They make it out to be like the worst thing ever. It's so comical to read those reviews. Same thing with Budweiser, which I don't know. I never could figure out why there was that obsession with it from a lot of craft beer people. I drink craft beer all the time, as evidenced by my endless craft beer video reviews. But I'll have these people tell me, Budweiser this, Budweiser that. Nobody cares about Budweiser. Nobody cares about Budweiser. I was like, I don't know. You talk about it 26 hours a day. You might care about it. You seem more obsessed with it than people that drink it regularly. If it doesn't matter, why do you keep talking about it? That's what all I've said. That's all I've said for 20 years. If it doesn't matter, why do you keep talking about it? And their response is, you're a shill. You work for them. It's like, no. Maybe it's because it's the best-selling beer in the world, and you have some kind of like obsession with that. It's like an atheist. They're mad every day of their life because people still believe in God. You know, it's like they're angry all the time. I'm angry. They like have this fixation to bring that up to let everybody know this. That's like the Budweiser haters. They just have to let everybody know. It's like you could be talking about some. Oh, you know what? Budweiser was. Why are you bringing that up? I mean, okay, good. You don't like Budweiser, all right. Or Grateful Dead, people that hate the Grateful Dead, they just are compelled to tell everybody that. I've noticed that phenomena over the year. Over the years, there'll be a music club and somebody will post, I don't know, New Minglewood Blues, Casey Jones. And then here they come. I say, well, just wait and listen. Here they come. Oh, I hate that band. And I was like, okay. You just had to tell everybody that. You could have just ignored it and kept scrolling, but you just are insane. You're obsessed. Obsessed with fantasy, possessed with your schemes. Okay. All right. So I didn't finish it all. Oh, ha, 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 ha. No, I'm not drinking whiskey at 6:45 in the morning. It's a tasting, okay? I mean, we can see that. I just didn't want to waste it. I mean, you want me to waste my own product? Rainbow Sky says, I like Budweiser. Same here. I love Anheuser-Busch beers. Love all of the Anheuser-Busch beers, says Dancing Dog, because you are a communist. I don't know. You're not allowed to like them. But I don't understand a lot of things, and I'll admit that. People make statements that are inexplicable to me. They don't make sense to me. I don't understand the statements. Maybe I'll do the same thing, but people could explain it. But one time I was doing a hangout in 2015 in December. I think it was Christmas Day night. Tom the Beer Whisperer, he deleted the videos curiously, but he was talking about rock music, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, what do you think about, because I was interested in this band because I didn't know much about them and I was trying to learn about that. I said, what do you think about Jefferson Airplane? Oh, he shouldn't have deleted it. He said, oh, that band has no credibility because they made the song, We Built This City on Rock and Roll. And I said, what? In other words, his reasoning was, if you make a song 20 years after you get started and it's controversial, like some people hate that song, you know, whatever. Some people like it, but then that makes you have no credit for anything you did before. Like it discredits anything you did previously, like White Rabbit, Somebody to Love, Volunteers, Blows Against the Empire, Miracle. I was like, I don't understand. I was saying, I don't understand their reasoning. It would be like if you made a bad beer and it didn't work out. So like, say, you know, like Sierra Nevada will make beers sometimes that aren't that good, but they just tried something. That doesn't discredit everything they did previously. I don't understand that kind of concept. But anyway, I like to bring up those old stories. Oh, you must do a video on Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Oh, boy. That was a contentious relationship. A famous creative team, but they didn't get along too well. Rest in peace, Stan Lee, says Rainbow Sky. A lot of people blame Stan Lee, but I don't know. Look at Jack Kirby's history. He never stayed with any company very long, and all the times he left the company always ended on some kind of bad terms. So I'm thinking that maybe he was difficult to work with because, you know, these artist types, you know, I'm an artist. And he was a great artist. So I have pretty much every comic book Jack Kirby ever did from 1970 until he died, including the Fourth World Tetralogy, all first printings of Mr. Miracle, The Forever People, The New Gods, and Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. I have the whole run. Plus the New Gods graphic novel and the Silver Surfer graphic novel from 1978, one of the first graphic novels. I do not have Tales of the Mob from Jack Kirby, black and white, 1971. I don't have Tales of the Mob, and I don't have the Jack Kirby portfolio from what, 1970, which people could order. I was 2 years old, so I wasn't exactly ordering comics. But he seemed like but he's one of these artist types. He couldn't get along with people, so he'd always leave on bad terms. And him and Stan Lee didn't work out too well, but kind of like Lindsey Buckingham, you know, with Fleetwood Mac. I'm an artist. And Warner Brothers was saying, yeah, well, how about producing something? Like, instead of telling us you're an artist, why don't you like make some content? You know, because that's what we do. We sell records and tapes. So we can't sell your self-worth. We can only sell music that's produced, you know. He did have problems with DC with Carmine Infantino. Yeah, and a lot of other people. Those are great comics. I love the Fourth World stuff. Oh, I mean, yeah, read The New Gods. What is it, number 7, The Pact? The story's called The Pact, P-A-C-T. From 1970, or is it 71? Doesn't matter. And then go watch the movie Star Wars from 1977. Wink. Then you might put some things together in your mind. Or watch Missing Persons from 1982, and then watch Lady Gaga. All right. When he went back to Marvel in the late 70s, he did a run on Captain America. Yeah, it was the mid 70s, actually. It was 1975, actually. I have all the Jack Kirby Captain Americas, by the way. Let me repeat that. I have all of Jack Kirby's 1975, 76, and 77 Captain Americas, by the way, including the Treasury edition, right? You know, the big triple with the big. And he sort of rebooted the New Gods with the Eternals. Yes, I have every issue of that. Number 1 through 19 plus the annual. He did Machine Man and Devil Dinosaur. I have all that. Don't forget, he did Black Panther. I have all that. Black Panther, 1977. Might have been his best work. Might have been his best work ever. The problem with Jack Kirby, we cannot keep going on this. Okay, this hangout must end. The problem with Jack Kirby was he was so involved in metaphysical ideas that the average reader could not understand what he's getting at. You understand? Like, so people would say, I don't even understand what this is about. I'm not an acolyte. I'm not a disciple of Thelema. Okay. I don't understand all this Scottish Rite, Rosicrucian, Thelemic, allegorical stuff, right? Everything Jack Kirby did was all some allegory. It means something else. Don't you see what it means? He did Silver Star in 1980 with Pacific Comics. You know, Silver Star, AA, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? People are like, no, we don't get it. All right. And his dialogue was very strange. I did a video about Jack Kirby. It's on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube, as old people say. I don't watch the YouTube. So that even Marvel Comics and DC, they would get so angry about that. They'd say, no one wants to read all this esoteric metaphysical stuff. We don't know what you're talking about. No one understands what these stories are about. They just want to read the Hulk fighting Doctor Strange because of a misunderstanding. All right. I have the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four. Clothes don't turn invisible. I like it. Yeah, but they had special. Yeah, but they did, because they had special. What did they call them? The molecules were different in the uniform. It was like unstable molecules. Remember that? I have the Captain America Bicentennial Battles. Yeah, that's a great one. He is as great. He is a great idea guy for sure, says Dancing Dog. Yeah, basically established the whole idea of the Marvel Universe by himself when he was still working at DC. Champions of the Universe. Challenges of the Unknown. Challenges of the Unknown and whatnot. Like Fantastic Four transformed according to their personalities. Right. So everything with him was metaphysical and allegorical. And people could not. I read them. I've read them all. I've read them, but they're so different than any other comic book series you'll ever read. They're not normal. They're not like just read Sandman. What he did for DC, that didn't last. Sandman, that's very different. And Commandy, remember he invented Commandy. And OMAC, One Man Army Corps, who was the father of Commandy, remember? All of this. It's metaphysical transformation. Good to see you again, Ronald. Hey, good to see you, Anton. Well, we must depart. I loved Commandy, says Dancer. I have every issue from number 1 to 59. See, I was buying stuff when nobody liked it. You know what I mean? Like I was able to buy low with the animals, right? So back in 1986, I said, I'm going to buy a bunch of comic books, but I'm not going to buy, I'm going to buy stuff nobody else wants at this time. But I had a feeling that it was going to take off. So I run out and bought all these Batman comic books, like everything from 1968 to now, and Superman. It was cheap back then. I mean, I'm talking about beautiful condition for 35 cents a book from the, I'll just buy it. Give me all. Because these comic book guys that sell at the comic shop, you show them the money, they start pulling the stuff out. All right. So, but once that movie came out in 1989 with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton and all that, well, that was it. That was over with. You could forget getting a good deal on Batman comics. That was the end of that story. I knew that was coming, so I was like buying. And then with the Jack Kirby stuff, I just bought it. And I even had people ridicule me, like this guy selling comic books at the show. They used to have a show in Kenner, Louisiana every year at the Travel Lodge, which has been torn down. They replaced it with a new hotel. That was a great convention. And I was in there, and he had the whole run of Black Panther from 1977, 78. Beautiful condition for nothing, nothing. And I said, I'll take all of them. And the guy looked at me and he said, wow. Now you're selling me the comics and you're going to say, wow, like a put down. And then I was buying some other, the Captain America. And somebody said, oh yeah, you're one of those Kirby freaks. And I just looked at him. I can't understand. You're selling stuff to somebody and you're going to ridicule them for buying it. Like, are you crazy? You were the comics original gangster. Yeah, right. And then Anton says something in Russian. I can't read that. I can't read that language. I can't read Cyrillic. I don't know what you're saying. Well, we have to end this. So don't get me started on comic books, because then it goes out of control. But I'm looking over here on the wall now. Yeah, there's there's Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby. That's the Frightful Four, the most inept villain group ever, right? Couldn't do anything right. That was pretty funny to read those. It was no ability to be criminals whatsoever. They had the worst powers and the worst plans and the worst leadership and the worst results. Thanks for watching this video production.